I'm Miss Melissa with the Oosterhout Free Library Book Bite series. Lambs are born in the spring, and the Rainbow Magic series is popular all year round. That's why for our new book, I have Elodie the Lamb Fairy, written by Daisy Meadows and published by Scholastic. Cock-a-doodle-doo! Kirsty Tate and Rachel Walker sat up in bed at exactly the same moment. For a few seconds, they couldn't figure out where they were. Then they remembered and shared an excited smile. "You know you're on a farm when a rooster's your alarm clock," said Rachel, bouncing out of bed. "Quick, let's get dressed. I can't wait to say good morning to all the animals." This was their first full day at the Greenfields farm, just outside of Weatherbury, where they were going to spend all of spring break. The farm was owned by Harriet and Niall Hawkins, friends of Kirsty's parents, and they were getting ready to open it up to paying visitors at the end of the week. The Tates and Rachel had come to help them. Kirsty slipped out of bed too and threw open the yellow curtains. The walls of the farmhouse were so thick that the windowsill was big enough to sit on. Kirsty put the blanket from her bed on the sill and then perched there, gazing out over the farm. She could see the barn where they had met Blossom, the cow, and the trees that hid the sparkling duck pond. Over to the left, she could see green pasture with sheep dotted around it like little puffs of cotton wool. "It's going to be a lovely sunny day," said Rachel, joining her at the window. "This is perfect weather for working outside." "I wouldn't mind rain or snow as long as we get to spend the day with baby animals," said Kirsty with a smile. The day before, the Hawkinses had asked the girls to look after the baby animals on the farm. Rachel and Kirsty were thrilled. They both loved animals, and they usually found that animals loved them too. As soon as the girls were dressed and had made their beds, they hurried down the creaky farmhouse stairs to the big kitchen. Niall and Harriet Hawkins were already there with the Tates. "Good morning, you two," said Niall in a cheerful voice. "You're just in time for a big Greenfields farm breakfast. Eggs freshly laid this morning, milk and butter from Blossom, the cow, and hot, crusty bread straight out of the oven." "Sounds delicious," said Kirsty, her stomach rumbling. As the girls began to devour their food, Harriet went through her list of what needed to be done that day. She asked Mr. and Mrs. Tate to finish painting the Welcome Center, and then smiled at the girls. "I've got a very special job for you to do this morning," she said. 5 lambs have been born here recently, and we want to get them used to bottle feeding. The visitors will love being able to feed lambs. Will you go to the sheep pasture after breakfast and bottle feed the lambs?" "We'd love to," said Rachel at once. "What a perfect way to start the day." "Would you like me to come with you and show you how to do it?" Niall asked. Rachel and Kirsty shook their heads. "No, thank you," said Kirsty. "We've both bottle-fed lambs before. I'm sure we'll remember what to do." "That's wonderful," said Harriet. "Thank you, Rachel and Kirsty." "Thank you for letting us do it," said Rachel, smiling. "I love lambs. They're so soft and woolly. They're my favorite baby animals." Kirsty laughed and squeezed her best friend's hand. "You say that about all animal babies," she told her. "I know," said Rachel, also laughing. "I can never make up my mind. They're all so cute." The girls had 2 fresh eggs each, followed by toast, butter, and homemade blackberry jam. They washed it all down with glasses of creamy, frothy milk, and then carried their plates to the sink. "Thank you," said Harriet. "We'll finish tidying up in here. I've put a bucket of bottles next to the back door for the lambs. Do you know where the sheep pasture is?" "Yes," said Kirsty. "We saw it from our bedroom window this morning." "The lambs are in a pen beside the pasture," said Harriet. "See you later, girls." Rachel and Kirsty pulled on their barn boots, and then Rachel picked up the bucket of bottles. They said goodbye to the grown-ups and headed out towards the pasture. To get there, they had to pass the barn. Blossom was outside, and she let out a happy moo as they walked past. "Good morning, Blossom," said Rachel, going over to her and patting her side. "We can't stop. We've got an important job to do this morning." She held up the bucket of bottles, and Blossom mooed again. "Yes, it's milk," said Kirsty. "See you later on, Blossom. We've got some animal babies to feed." The girls walked side by side up the path towards the sheep pasture. The morning breeze carried the fresh scent of grass to them, and they took deep breaths to drink it in. "I wish I could live here," said Kirsty. "I love the countryside." Rachel didn't reply. She was staring at something on the wooden pasture fence. It was an animal, and it was stepping carefully along the top railing. "What is that?" she asked. "A cat?" said Kirsty, sounding unsure. "It looks too big for a cat," Rachel said. They sped up, and as they got closer, they went even faster. They could now see what the animal was, but neither of them could quite believe what was in front of their eyes. "It's a lamb," said Kirsty in wonder. "I've never seen a lamb balancing on a fence before." "I've never heard of a lamb saying meow either," said Rachel, frowning. "Listen." As they got closer, Kirsty heard it too. The lamb was meowing like a cat. The girls exchanged a worried glance. "Jack Frost and his goblins are causing trouble again," said Kirsty. "Well, what are they going to do about Jack Frost and the goblins? And how many lambs are acting like cats? This could be a big problem. We'll find out next time from the Oosterhout Free Library Book Bite series.